wandering feet, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome for the first time. But holy cats, so many of you are not going to be new here, because since my last video, I've posted one video, and in the time since that video, I just checked and I'm up to 360 followers, and I thought that was absolutely insane. So thank you so much. I have had such lovely comments, everybody leaving me comments and welcoming me to the community. I keep trying to explain to non-stitchy people how like welcoming and affirming this community is. Thank you for not making me a liar, because this is absolutely amazing. I still get, like, I looked on Saturday and there were 7, and I looked on Sunday morning and there were 70. And I was like, what is happening? And it's just been every single time that I've looked since then, it's gone up at least 1. Absolutely amazing. It blows my mind. Thank you. Thank you so much for the warm welcome. I appreciate you so desperately. This is my WIP Parade, you guys. I have been enjoying everyone's WIP parades. In fact, it was the WIP parades that that motivated me to start my own channel, because I have a number of WIPs. Specifically, I have 15 WIPs, which I've seen some of y'all's WIP parades. I feel like 15 is a totally manageable number of WIPs. And many of them were new starts just in the last few months, since I really started absorbing Flosstube and all of the beautiful things that you guys are stitching. Like I said, this is my WIP parade. I'm going to start with, I'm going to go through my WIPs in the order that they're in my handy dandy notebook. And so that is going to be roughly chronological, also roughly autobiographical for some of it. I'm going to start at the very beginning, which is a very good place to start. This is going to establish the baseline. Every time I make a video, you're not going to see all of these WIPs. You're only going to see what I've worked on since the last video. But from this video, we can establish where everything is starting. The number one thing in cybersecurity, which is the industry I work in, is to know your baseline, right? So this is going to establish our baseline. And I'm going to start in an awful, terrible, no good, very bad way. And that is, hold on one second. I'm going to pull this chair closer. There we go. That's where I'm going to park them all when I'm finished. Oh, also for this video, I'm recording once. I might edit out some ums and things like that. But I'm only recording this once. Nothing like the last time where I recorded 5 of them. And also, so here in Utah, we are going through something in the Utah Valley right now called an inversion. Those outside Utah may not know what the heck this is. I sure didn't before I got here. So the Utah Valley is in between 2 mountain ranges. There's the Wasatch Mountains to the east, which are the pretty mountains, and the Ochre Mountains to the west, which are the gross mountains. And I live in the Ochre Mountains right now. But because we're kind of surrounded on all sides and we're a giant bowl in between all of these mountains, the pollution sometimes comes in, and if there's no other weather systems to move it out, it just like sits in the Utah Valley. And so when I'm driving to work, it'll look like there's a fog. And so I was like, wow, it's really foggy today. And my coworker's like, no, that's pollution. So that's what, if you ever hear a Utahn refer to an inversion, that's where it is, because usually the pollution's way up high, but because there's no weather systems, it comes down low. Any Utahns, if I got that wrong, please correct me in the comments. But you're going to see I have a little tissue right here. It's not for my nose. My nose is fine, but my eyes are really runny because apparently I'm allergic to inversions. I've never had environmental allergies before, but you know, this is the year of new things for Katie. So that's, I didn't introduce myself. I am Katie. Not going to go back and start over. I am Katie. I use she, her pronouns. I live in the Utah Valley in Utah, and moved here from Florida, lived in New Jersey originally, former soldier. Go watch the first video. There's a lot of stuff. But I'm so excited to be doing this. Okay. me center. Okay, I'm going to start with my WIP Parade. My first WIP, you're not going to be able to see. This is a terrible start. I'm so sorry. My first WIP is from 2018. If I can find any pictures, I'll put them right here somewhere. In fact, I know I have a couple of pictures because this is the stitch that's on the banner of my channel. And it is a Rosh Hashanah challah cover. I was stitching it on the, I don't know if it's Swagger or Weichelt or Wichelt, rather, one of the, it's from Michaels, the bread cover Aida from Michaels. So I was stitching this challah cover for Rosh Hashanah specifically, and I charted Shana Tova to go in the middle. And I didn't finish it in time for Rosh Hashanah that year. We used it at Rosh Hashanah. It was a gift from my stepmother. So we used it at Rosh Hashanah, and then I took it back and then worked on it for a little bit, and then it's gone. It's not gone. I saw it in Florida when I was packing. I haven't seen it yet in Utah. So as soon as I find that, I will make sure that you see it. As of today, it's currently missing. So that's WIP number 1. Hi, friends. It's editing Katie. So George made so much noise in the background of my WIP number 2 last time, and it got a little bit weird. So I broke my rule that I wasn't going to re-record anything, because this isn't re-recording because I needed it re-recorded. So the inversion that I explained before makes George very itchy. He already has some sensitive skin. And when he scratches, he makes a lot of noises that sound a little bit obscene. And I didn't want an explicit label on my YouTube. So I'm re-recording just for WIP number 2. And then we're going to go back to the regular recording. It's literally like the next day. It's fine. So WIP number 2 is a really old Kandamar needlepoint chart that I found someplace. I don't know where I found it. I don't know if I bought it. I have zero recollection of acquiring. It's like a monkey's paw. It just showed up at my house. So I had this needlepoint chart. I don't know how to needlepoint, and I didn't know it was a needlepoint chart. I think I just assumed it was a cross stitch chart because they look the same. So I just started cross stitching it. But because I only have the chart, I had to print off this this image. I think this is an Etsy sale, or I'm sorry, an eBay sale. But this is what the pillow will look like. I'm not going to finish it with the tassels. This is a fantastic piece. So I'm not going to finish it with the tassels. I'm just stitching this bit in here. And so this is what it looks like. I'm just stitching it on, I'm stitching it on black Aida because I didn't want to stitch all of the black background. Because like a lot of you, I don't find that 2 strands of 310 cover as nicely as 2 strands of any other thread. So I'm doing it on, I think it's 16 count. I don't know. It's a mystery Aida as well. So mystery pattern, mystery Aida. It is DMC, that much I can tell you. I'm making it for my partner's mom because her home is styled very arts and crafts, very prim. William Morris is based on a William Morris fabric. It's a William Morris design. Again, there's the finish. And William Morris is one of my favorite fabric designers of all time, but he's kind of a bastion of the arts and crafts movement. And so since it matched her home so nice, I thought, oh, well, let me stitch it for my mother-in-law. And she's wonderful and fantastic and absolutely is stitch worthy and deserves everything I could possibly make for her. So I think she's really going to love it. But then I ran into an issue where I started to see deterioration in the paper of the pattern. So the one and only time I've ever used FlossCross was to rechart this. Fortunately, it's very symmetrical, so I really only had to rechart half of it and then flip it. But I did end up recharting this in FlossCross so that I could import it into Pattern Keeper and stop using the paper pattern. Because I did that, I can tell you that there are 28,101 stitches in this, and I am 46.69% finished. It's probably going to fill this entire Aida. I'm hoping to finish it into a pillow, but I don't know, because you can see how little, I mean, there's a 1/4 inch seam allowance up there, but not a whole lot more. So I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I might attach fabric to this and then make the pillow out of the fabric that goes around the edges, so that the stress on the fabric is not here. It's up here, whatever that looks like. So this is WIP number 2, the William Morris style pillow for my mother-in-law, 46.69% finished. That is the repeat of WIP number 2. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. The next one that I have, I also don't have to show you. It's not that interesting. It's a packaged DMC or Dimensions or something kit from Michaels, the kind that has like the little hoop in it and it's in like a bag. So this is the No Probllama, and I'll find a picture and put it right there. This is my travel project. It lives in a cigar box, which I understand is not the best place for a stitchery to live. But it lives in a cigar box, and it goes into my carry-on bags, and I can stitch it on planes and stuff. I haven't done that since I've had more interesting things to stitch. So I feel bad for the No Probllama, but its days are done, probably. I mean, I will eventually finish it because I don't like having unfinished things. The third WIP I have to show you, I also don't have to show you because it's also missing in the move. This is the last time I'm going to say that, I think. And I absolutely hate this one. It's called Needlepoint Gnomies, and I discovered that I don't like needlepoint. I'm not going to be able to post a full picture, but I see if I can find an in progress picture, I'll put it right there. Because it's a hand painted 18 mesh canvas. And it was my first and only foray into needlepoint because I discovered doing this project that I don't like needlepoint. I don't like pearl cotton. I don't like how hard it is to get the needle in. This one hurt. It hurt my hands so hard. And I didn't enjoy it. But it is, all of the gnomes on it are finished. Now there's a frame around it, and then I'm debating if I need to fill in the frame with like a background color. I don't want to, but artistically I might have to, and I'm cranky about it. So I have seen that one since we left Florida, but I haven't seen it in Utah yet, so I don't know where that one is. My next one, this is my first Rage Stitch. This is Rage Stitch number 1. I started it on November 9th of 2024 to give you an idea of my mental state. It is We Believe pattern. I've seen a bunch of people stitching this, or I saw a bunch of people stitching it last year. They've probably all finished it because they're not Katie. But I bought this pattern on Etsy, and here in the edge where there's this little filigree, there's also a version that has letters there. I think the letters read Believe or We Believe, but I chose to stitch the filigree, and actually I've stitched the filigree a number of times because I keep miscounting. So this is the current state of this one. When last I stitched on this, I'm stitching the All Bodies Are Beautiful section. And for the Love is Love section here, as I stitch those colors, then I'm just using the ends of the threads in there. I made one change here, and for healthcare is a right. Instead of blue, I use the colors of the trans flag. There's a little bit of ghosting down in this corner because I had to pull out Truth Has Power. Again, because I miscounted. I did the entire border, like from here all the way down, all the way across. And then when I got up here, like I think this one didn't match or this one didn't match or something. And I had to take the entire thing out all the way to the bottom corner. So this is going to be pretty much exactly the size that it's going to be. Not a whole lot left for lacing. I'll have to figure that out. I also don't know how to lace, so I'll have to figure that out anyway. But just so you have a roadmap of this one, I showed you all bodies are beautiful, love is love, science is real, kindness is everything, no human is illegal, women's rights are human rights, and then living wage for all, Black Lives Matter, and truth has power in this corner. So that's those are the messages that I still have left to stitch. And then this will probably get framed and hung, I think. Probably someplace prominent. So this was started on November 9th, 2024. It has 15,182 stitches. It's being stitched on DMC 16 count Aida in natural. And I am 38.74% finished. Next stitch that I have to show you is another one that I don't really much care for. And that is, this is a Dimensions Needlecraft kit that I picked up. Anytime I go to a craft store, if there's a cute little stitch, I grab it because I have small humans and non-proficient stitchers in my life. So I like to have something easy if somebody wants to learn something. My godson, Jason, I think was 10, and he was visiting and he saw me stitching on that one. And he really wanted to stitch something. So we went up in my bin, and picked a kit, and he picked this one. And then I have here in my notes, started by Jason, but he wasn't digging it. And I understand why. I can't show you the chart for this one, but the chart is a nightmare, you guys. Like, some things are charted in black and some things are charted in bright honkin' magenta. Sometimes two different symbols in two different colors for the same thread color, because some are these half crosses that make up this background here, and all the background are some of the background half crosses are magenta, and some of them, and then some of the back stitch is black and some of the back stitch is magenta, and I can't, it gives me a migraine looking at that chart. So I don't use it a whole lot. And I don't like stitching it. I stitch it anytime the wheel tells me I have to stitch it, and that's pretty much it. I've had to restart it twice because the first time that I started it, I had the Aida the wrong way. So trucks are longer than they are tall. I don't know if you know this about trucks. So I pulled it out and I started again. This is as far as I've gotten since December 27th of 2024. This is all I've stitched. So I did just get this one into Markup RXP last night or the night before. Y'all, I bought a used iPad specifically for the purpose of using Markup RXP because I didn't want to wait for them to update their Android one. So, because I'm not an I person. So I have an Android tablet that runs Pattern Keeper. And so now I have an iPad also just to run Markup RXP. Worth it though. I love Markup RXP, and I think I like it a lot better than Pattern Keeper, but the stuff that's in Pattern Keeper is going to stay in Pattern Keeper. But anyway, I just imported this from the paper pattern into Markup, I think yesterday. It's 4,252 stitches, and I am 7.53% finished. So that's all I have to say about that one. The next one I have, I do really enjoy, but there's a lot of thread switching. There's a lot of color switching, and so it gets, I love stitching it, but it does get a little bit tedious to stitch. And this is my my bookshelf 2025. There's the information there, Fandom Cross Stitchery. I bought this pattern on Etsy. Every year I set a goal for my reading. I use the Goodreads Goalkeeper, and I participate in the quarterly goals as well. They're usually genre based, but I participate in the quarterly goals as well. But last year I decided I was going to choose a bookshelf stitching pattern, and then however many books were on that stitching pattern, that's what my goal was. So my goal last year was 83. You can see I was keeping track of how many books were on each shelf. So I did meet my reading goal last year of 83 books. I met it on December 11th. So I still had some time to go. I didn't read anything else because I only had space for 83 books. So I caught up on my podcast because I was in like March. So I was like, well, some of this is outdated information. So I started this on January 1st, 2025. This was my new year, new start that year. And this is my progress. I have 48.59% finished. I fully finished. Let me move it a little bit closer and get out of the shot here so you can see. I have fully finished the entire top shelf with all of the back stitching and interesting designs. And now I'm working on the second shelf there. I'm not going to stitch in the fully booked here, right here. I'm not going to stitch that in until it is in fact finished. And then this will probably be mounted on a board in some way so that I can put some batting behind it, because y'all, but I'm going to show you my back. I know normally, if you want to look at the back of my work and have anything to say about it, I'm going to throw you out of my house because clearly you're not a friend of mine. But look at the back of this thing. It is such a mess, and it's not going to sit flat on anything that I mount it to. So I think I want to mount it in such a way that I get, that I can kind of cushion those knots and all of those runners, because that's a lot of running. But I'm enjoying this stitch. There are 3,060 stitches, 3060, and like I said, I'm 48.59% finished. The next one I started shortly after that, the caterpillar cross stitch. This is the best photo that I'm going to be able to give you, because the rest of everything is the chart. So this is the biggest photo that they have. I ordered this one from Caterpillar Cross Stitch the same time I ordered the Here Comes the Sun that I showed you in the last video. I really like, I think I said it at the time, I really like Caterpillar Cross Stitch's kits. I like how the thread comes. I like the quality of the kit. I love the quality of the instructions. They're very clear. So this was started on January 2025 with the called for, looks like Zweigart 16 count fabric. I started this on January 2025, and there are 6,494 stitches, and I have completed 15.14% of them, 15.14% of them. So that is the Collider quilt from Caterpillar Cross Stitch. This next stitch I absolutely love doing. I have to remind myself that I have other things to stitch on that I love just as much when I'm working on this one. This is After the Roses from Ink Circles. It's just absolutely breathtaking. I got this from everythingcrossstitch.com so that I could put together a kit at the same time that I was buying the pattern. Because y'all, I really like to have a kit right away. I am not in love with having patterns just bopping around, because I'm more likely to do them when they're in a kit. If everything's already ready, I'll pick it up and I'll go. But if it's just a pattern, it might just sit there for a little while. It stinks. But so anyway, After the Roses from Ink Circles. This is my first project using non-DMC and non-random kit floss. This is my first time using overdyes. This calls for Classic Colorworks floss. So I didn't even know that those existed until Flosstube. So I absolutely love stitching on that. You may have seen corners or allusions to this one before, but here is that. It's very symmetrical, which I enjoy. So I'm kind of working in sections on this one. I am a stitcher who just kind of works on everything in the hoop before I move the hoop anywhere. And so I will stay in this general area. Gosh, it's just so pretty. Sorry. I'll just like stay, like right now, this is where I'm hooping. So I'm going to stitch everything in this area, and then I'll probably move over to here and stitch everything in that area. But this is 32 count Belfast linen from Witchelt in vintage smoky white. I would call them Weichelt, but I've heard everybody on Flosstube say Witchelt, so I'm assuming that that's correct. This was started on November 8th, 2025. I didn't enter it into markup until a couple weeks ago when I got markup. So there are 9,504 stitches, and I am 26.15% of them. I'm going to zoom in a little bit because gosh darn it, you guys, this is so pretty. I just absolutely love this one. The little pomegranates there. Okay, listen, if it's got a pomegranate on it, I want it. I love everything about pomegranates. I love the representation of the mitzvot. I love the pomegranate juice. I make a pomegranate juice reduction that is really amazing on roasted Brussels sprouts. Come at me. It's so good. If there's a pomegranate on it, I love it. As will be evidenced in the next floss tube when I show you all of my kits and patterns. I'm not going to do that in this video because we're already at 25 minutes by my clock, maybe a little bit shorter by the time it gets edited, but we're already at 25 minutes. So if you you'll see when I do the next video how much I love pomegranates. In fact, the challah cover I think had pomegranates on it too. Okay, for this next WIP, if you are my friend Michi, fast forward. Give me like, I don't know, 30 seconds. Give me a minute. Give me a minute, but don't look at the next minute. Let's wait for Michi to go. Bye, Michi. Okay, I'm assuming she's gone. Michi, if you're going to spoil your own surprise if you're still here. So this, my good friend Michi, she was my neighbor in Florida and one of my closest friends, and I'm really, really sad that I no longer live next door to her. But I taught Michi how to stitch right before I left. She is working on Greenhouse of Oddities by Lola Crow. So now I have to wait to start that one until she's finished with it because she has my pattern. She picked out a pattern from all of my Etsy patterns. She picked out a pattern. We went to the craft store. We got her fabric. We got all of her floss. We got a hoop. We got needles. We got a little bag to keep it in. And actually, I think I gave her a bag to keep it in. But anyway, so she's been working steadily on that. She started with the corpse flower in the middle, and it looks amazing. So I decided that she, as a new stitcher, needs a needle book, and she's a little spooky. So this is the Haunted Stitches needle book from Stacy Nash. There's what the front looks like. And then if you open it up, both sides are stitched. That's the front and the back. And then you would obviously put your needles on the obverse side that we can't see here. So Haunted Stitches needle book from Stacy Nash. This is my first foray into Weeks Dye Works. I'd never used Weeks Dye Works before. This is being stitched 1/2 on 40 count, which is my first experience with 40 count. I had to go and buy 3+ readers to be able to see this instead of the usual readers that I wear. This is Zweigart 40 count Newcastle linen in flax. So there's the front side that is fully completed. Yo, that is so small, you guys, 1/2. I can't even. And then, so if you watched my short that was posted last week of spinning the wheel, the glasses that I grab out, those are the special 3+ reading glasses. And then here's how far I am on the back. How do I not have the stats? Oh, there they are. 4,928 stitches for this one, and I am 64.61% finished. So I just have to finish the back, and then I have to FFO it so that I can give it to Michi. And I'm stitching it on the same piece of fabric, obviously. So that's that one. My next one is kind of a bigger pattern. Welcome back, Michi. Hi. My next one is a kind of a bigger project. It's actually 4 separate patterns. You've seen at least one of them before. But Thread Milk Designs came out with the Statehood Splendor series of patterns, and they are fantastic. They're little like 4-inch finished pillows, or 3 or 4-inch finished pillows, it looks like. So I thought it'd be really fun to pick the 4 states that my partner and I have lived in together, and stitch those 4 states. I've lived in many, many more states because I was in the Army. But so I decided to pick the 4 that we lived together and stitch those. And so in chronological order, from the beginning of our relationship a decade ago, that would be New Jersey, the tomato, I love it. Pennsylvania, which is where we lived for most of our relationship, I think. Yeah. Pennsylvania. And then Florida, where we moved from most recently, and now Utah. So those are the patterns. I have finished now Utah and Florida. So I'll show you Utah again, because even though you just saw that in the first video, here is Utah again. Utah is the beehive state. It's the 45th state, so that's where there are bees on the Utah one. But this is technically a WIP because this is 4 patterns in one project. But Florida is also finished, so there's Florida. This is with all the called for, with one exception. So the tomato, the New Jersey tomato, is stitched with Classic Colorworks Chili Pepper, which is this orange color. Now, I grew up by Rutgers. The Rutgers tomato is the gold standard for tomatoes. Rutgers tomatoes are not orange, and I don't know how this and this are the same color. So I'm subbing in the cayenne that I used on Utah. So the cayenne that was used for Utah from Classic Colorworks is going to be the tomato on New Jersey. One last thought on the Statehood Splendor set that I really love. It's one of my favorite aspects of it. In addition to the image and the chart, on the back of, I have to be really careful not to show you the other side of this, but on the back of every state, there's information about the state. There's the state flower and the state insect and the state bird and all the state, and then how the state became born, and how it enters statehood. And I love that so much because I am such a nerd for statehood and constitutional and presidential history and just all those little minutia things. So that's the State Stitches project that was started on 26 November 2025, and it's being stitched on 36 count natural Edinburgh linen in the color raw. I don't have stitch counts because each one is like by itself, but I can tell you that Florida had 742 stitches in Florida. So I'm going to say 50% done with that because I finished 2 of the 4 states, but I don't know that that's going to be numerically correct. The next one that I have is from Gather Round from Hands On Design. This is my first hands-on design. And it is these, I'm trying not to put my elbow on my stitching. It's these seasonal little paddles. The paddles are from Chantel 141, and I have a complete set for each of the 4 seasons that are available. So this is Gather Pine Cones, and it's winter. Winter's my favorite season. So I started with this one. There's also Gather Wildflowers, Gather Butterflies, and Gather Pumpkins. I'm treating these as 4 separate projects. So you're not going to see the other 3 of these until I do the kit parade that is coming up. But they're all being stitched on the same fabric, and there's a lot of like cross-pollination with the flosses. But they're being stitched on 32 count platinum Belfast linen from Zweigart. And I started with the quilt block because there's like something so meta about cross-stitching a quilt block. Like the same with the collider quilt, like it tickles my brain in a really interesting way. So in the entire winter set, there are 3,910 stitches. And so I am 7.67% finished with this one. And I only just did a start. This came up on the wheel of Stitchery. And so, so that's why I did that start. But I'm excited to do the finishing. I have a note here that I'm missing one color, but I didn't put what color it is. So I don't know if I'm actually missing a color anymore or not. I might have gotten it since then. I think it was 842 because that one was hard for me to find for a little while. And I don't have any of the rickrack. I just have the boards because I was afraid that they wouldn't have them anymore. The next one you've already seen, but a little bit of progress has been made. It is the Biscornu from Dorigo Michaela for, let's see if I can, crocette a go-go, I guess. Which brings me to a question. If anyone knows Italian, I would love, these are just the instructions, they're not the chart, they're the instructions on how to construct the Biscornu, but they're all in Italian. Now I know Spanish, and my mother-in-law knows French, but I can't make heads or tails. I mean, I can follow the pictures, obviously, but if I have any viewers that are fluent in Italian, it would be really fantastic if you could translate this for me. I can scan this page in for you, because I feel like there's going to be some nuance that's lost in the imagery. But this one is one of my WIP Go calls for January. This is corresponds to number 7 for January. And so I had my partner I showed my partner all of my kits. Number 7 on my WIP Go board was New Start. So I showed my partner all of my kits and he picked out this one for me to start. So there are 5,234 stitches and I am 13.37% finished. This is 32 count Belfast linen by Witchelt in Whisper. It's just the prettiest gray. There's a color contrast for you. It's the prettiest gray. I got this from 123 Stitch. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC flosses. And I made one error. This bar here of B body for the top B is 1 stitch over. So just that one bit. So I just have to take out that one bit and then I can motor. That was started on January 5th of 2026. So that was my first new start of 26. Yeah. First new start of 2026. Next I have Rage Stitch number 3. You saw Rage Stitch number 2 in my finishes parade. My last one, that was the classified documents in the bathroom. This is Rage Stitch number 3, and this is Come Back with a Warrant to protest the ice raids. Started also on January 1st, 2026. What I imagine for this one is a beautiful wreath on my front door with, maybe some ranunculus, a beautiful actual physical floral wreath with this in a hoop in dead center. I will spray it with some waterproofing or whatever it is I need to do. But it's not gonna be anytime soon because this is all I've gotten finished. This is stitched on some random, it looks like 16, could be 16 or 18. I can't tell. Just some random Aida from probably from Michael's or Joann's. This is 2,629 stitches and I have finished 4.87%. It's not going to be very difficult. It just hasn't come up on the wheel very much. And my final cross stitch whip, you guys. I love this one so much. I am doing the Fox and Rabbit mystery stitch along with 2 of my coworkers. So hello Tay, hello Em. And so all 3 of us are doing it together. We chose this one because we have very different stitching styles. So I opted for, well, let me show you. So This is the mystery stitch along. This is the January clue. So it's just that bit. Just that bit is 1,379 stitches. And I have stitched 52% of them. Let me arrange this because you guys, this is delicious. This is my first time stitching on fiber on a whim, and I get it. I get it, you guys. I understand completely because this is like stitching into a cloud. It is amazing. I love it so much. This is the one that was in my short video from last week. This is 36 count Edinburgh linen in sapphire by Fiber on a Whim. I wish you could, I just pet it. I wish you guys could feel, if you've never felt Fiber on a Whim before, the needle just glides in so perfectly. It's amazing. So with this stitch along, there wasn't really a called for. They said use ecru, light blue, and light brown. So I used ChatGPT to help me decide which colors went on this fabric. So the prompt that I used was I told it that I was going to be stitching on Edinburgh linen in sapphire by Fiber on a Whim, and I was keeping ecru, and I needed a light blue and a light brown that were cool toned, not warm toned, didn't lean yellow, and didn't look garish against the sapphire. And so I narrowed down the choices that I was given to 519 for the blue and 842 for the light brown. So this is my progress so far. Like I said, 52.57%. And as we get our clues done, all three of us get our clues done, I will love to make some shorts and show you all three of ours together. Because like I said, we have very different stitching styles. I don't know what Em is going to pick for her fabric. I don't know what Tay is going to pick for her fabric. And I'm just so excited to see how we all do that. So that is the last, I think that's my only time-bound stitch. Like WIP Go is whatever. If I do it, I do it. And if I don't, I don't. I'm my own worst enemy on that one. But this is a stitch along in real time with like real life people that are friends of mine. So that's going to be a challenge to make sure that I get my section done every month. Yeah, I absolutely love that. Highly recommend Fiber on a Whim. So that is the end of my cross stitch content. If you're only here for Flosstube and aren't interested in anything else, you can go ahead and clock out. Thanks for being here. But I'm going to show you, I have one quilting project to show you and I have one knitting project to show you. And so I don't really have any actual quilting projects to show you because they're all still being unpacked. But Riley Blake Designs, which I think is based here in Utah because I've seen their name on a giant building. But Riley Blake Designs has, along with Echo Park Paper Company, has released a Winnie the Pooh line. And Winnie the Pooh is my partner's absolute favorite. The first time we went to Disney together, I made sure that our first character mail was Winnie the Pooh and Friends. He absolutely loves Winnie the Pooh. And so they have this free pattern. It's available on Riley Blake's website. This is a free pattern called Sweet as Honey that uses, this is a center panel. And I went to my Bernina store to have my Bernina serviced. And as I was picking up my Bernina, or as I dropped off my Bernina, I saw the display that they had for this fabric line and snatched that panel right away. And then also some other colorways of some of the other fabrics. That you can't really see them very well in here, but there's like a line art 100-acre wood map fabric. I ordered the 10-inch stacker from Riley Blake because that's how the piano key border is made. So maybe we can see it better. So I got yardage of this one, and I think this one, I can't remember if I got the green yardage or the brown yardage. And of course, It's in a bright white bag with Bernina in big letters across it. So of course I can't find it in my sewing room. But this is going to be for my partner. So this, it also calls for some confetti cotton solids to make the honey pots in the corner and to make the borders. So between the yardage that I have and the yardage, the solid yardage that I got and the 10-inch stacker, I should be able to start that as soon as I find the rest of the pieces. Although, when we do a quilting video, you'll see I have 97 unfinished quilts in some stage other than finished, whether that's kit or cut or pieced, or the top is a flimsy, or basted. We'll get to that and those stats. But once I find the other bits and put these all together, I would call this number 98, because at that point it's kitted. That is my quilt. And then I always have a purse sock. Socks are super easy, mindless knitting for most of it. When you're not doing toe magic or heel magic, it's just round and around and around and around and around. So I will often knit in the movie theater. I knit while I'm in line for things. I'll knit if the traffic is really bad and I'm not actually moving, I'll knit. So I have a number of small project bags for socks. This is an Erin Lane bag. I did a yarn of the month a couple of years ago that was from Destination Yarns, and they would custom dye a yarn on different bases, but they would custom dye a specific colorway for different cities. Like there was a Barcelona one, there was a Tokyo one. So I don't remember what city this one was for, but every bag or every skein of yarn also came with a project bag of varying sizes. They weren't all this size. Some were pretty big, but they were all Erin Lane bags, and it was really fantastic. So I have a number of purse socks. I think I have 4 total purse sock bags, and that is so that the bag, the sock that's actually in my purse is always at a straight knitting part. Once I start to get to a heel flap or a toe decreases, whatever that looks like, then I swap it out for one in my sewing room that's already in the straight stitch. Like I have one that's just a cuff and it's ready to start the straight stitching. This one will ride around in my bag until it's to the heel flap. I like an Eye of Partridge heel, if anyone's curious. And so I just knit them plain vanilla. I do 2x2 ribbing until I'm tired of it. And then 2x2 ribbing until I'm tired with it, and then straight knitting for 1 needle length underneath the ribbing. So I will knit straight, just stockinette until I get down to here, and that's where I'll start the heel flap. I vary the number of stitches I cast on based on who I'm knitting them for. I'm usually knitting them for my partner, so I cast on 72 for him because I know that will go around his foot and his ankle. But this just rides around in my purse, and I pull it out and I work on it when I have a chance. I have separate office knitting when I'm in meetings. Those are charity hats, and they turn a square pattern from Jared Flood because I have that pattern memorized now. And so anytime I'm in a meeting, I'll do a couple of rounds in a hat. So that is my purse sock, my current purse sock. I don't know what the yarn is. I don't think I have the yarn. I don't think I have the yarn ball. Oh, I do. It is the fiber seed. It was from 4 Pearls in Winter Haven, Florida. The fiber seed in color Island Sky on their base called Sprout. It is milled in Maine and hand dyed in Florida. So that is, and here's the cake. Here's the yarn cake. So beautiful, looks like the Florida sky. So actually it doesn't, because I have really strong opinions on light color, and the Florida sky is blue, but it's blue with yellow. This doesn't have any yellow. So now that's my purse sock. Now we are going to spin the wheel to see what it is that I'm going to stitch on for this next bit. And so here's my wheel spin. Oh, I'm gonna get to do my We Believe Braid stitch, super fun. And then now we're gonna do one more wheel spin, because at some point in the future from now, not gonna say when, but my partner and I are going on a trip to Vegas, because it's really close to Utah, and I've never been there, and he hasn't been there since 1979. So we're taking a couple days in Vegas. So now we're gonna spin to determine which project gets to go to Vegas. Spin, dadgummit. Nope, that's not a real spin. There we go. Okay. Biscornu is going to come to Vegas, and I'm going to be stitching on We Believe for the next week. It's not the only thing I'm going to stitch on for the next week. I'm only going to stitch on it until I feel like I'm done stitching on it, and then I'm going to spin the wheel again. So next Flosstube, you will see the current WIPs, any progress that has been made since this day. And my next video is going to be all of the kits and patterns that I have handy. So potential new starts. So the potential. If you're enjoying my channel, please like and subscribe. Leave a comment. It's really fantastic. I had no idea how much that helps. So I've just been going on a commenting spree and helping other people. If you like my content, share it with somebody. And please leave me a comment and let me know if there's anything in particular that you want me to talk about, whether it's in detail about my notebook or show you some of my organization in the sewing room. Whatever you think might help you with your neurodivergent crafting. I would love to be helpful, and I want to learn from you guys. So if you have tips and tricks that you use, lay them on me, because I'm here for them all. Thank you so much, friends. I appreciate you spending the time with me, and I'll see you soon. Bye.